March is Spirituality Awareness Month, so Dawn, your natural hormone balancing specialist, giving you some just basic tips that can help align your mind and your heart, and that's going to help you feel spiritually aligned, which is going to help lower your stress hormones, your internal angst, and allow your sex hormones to balance. So let's get into it. We already talked about how to start your day. Now let's talk a little bit about prayer versus meditation. And I think people think like meditation is new age. It's not. And I don't even think people know what new age means. But anyway, we won't get into that now. So meditation and then prayer seems like the traditional thing you do at church. But really, prayer is asking God and being verbal and you talking, right? Or thinking. And praying out loud is good too. But talking or thinking these thoughts, right? Towards God, I want this, I need this, please help me. And then meditation is the other half of that. And that's listening. I mean, could you imagine if you had a conversation with your spouse or your friend and all you did was talk and then you never listened? How would that go? Not well, right? So we need to have this quiet time. And that's where in the last video I talked about having that little sanctuary in your head and having a time and place where you do pray and meditate. So meditation is listening. And what I like to do is if I'm really struggling with something is ask the night before, a couple of nights, and then in the morning, in that twilight, when you're in those relaxed brain waves, when you're coming to like maybe theta brain waves in the morning, it even can feel like the end of a dream, things and answers come to you. And that works really well for me. And I'm very thankful for that. So that's another idea. But understanding the prayer versus meditation. And then how does prayer really work? Well, I believe everything has a cause and effect, right? The divine doesn't just make mistakes or have things happen haphazardly, right? That wouldn't make sense at all. Look how beautiful and intricate our bodies are. So when it comes to how does prayer really work, the way I understand it, if we're talking about quantum physics and energy of the quantum field, okay, you don't have to be a quantum physicist to understand this, is that it's the amount of energy going towards something, right? So when a couple gets married, right, they have everybody in the church and they're like, do you all support? Because if a marriage is hard enough, right? But if you have a lot of your friends and family supporting you, that's going to be good. If you have a bunch of people going against you or thinking you shouldn't be married, I'm not saying that's going to like break up your marriage, but it certainly doesn't help, right? So if someone is sick and I say, let's all get together and lay hands on this person, or let's get the whole church to pray or the whole community to pray, it's more people putting that energy out there. I think people think, well, it's more people asking God. Well, I don't believe that. I believe in a sense it is, but it's the amount of energy going towards it. So that's where doing large group prayers and meditations have a lot more power to them. So just keep that in mind. But when we are praying, we can't always get an answer to our prayer that's what we want. You'll always get an answer. You just might not like it, or it might not be in line with what you were thinking. And sometimes I have to think, like, if we're praying for the sick person or something like that, is this their time to die? Is this what's best for their spirit? Is this something they're going through that they can help so many other people and even us that are on the other end that don't want to feel the pain? Is this what's God's will or what the will of that person is meant to be? So we can't always expect to get our prayers answered, but in the sense that what we want, there'll be an answer. It just might not be what we want. And prayer is also very soothing for us because we can take our burdens and just surrender them to the divine, like I talked about in the first video, and just leave them there and then move on with our day. And we could revisit them once a day, but to worry all day is not really a good thing. So that kind of gives you a little bit, of an understanding. And the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about contemplative prayer. But even in the prayer, right? Let's say I'm praying for my mom, she's sick. In the prayer, I can actually visualize my mother better, right? So I'm praying that she'll be better, but I can also visualize that and also feel that because that's what I want. I want to feel better. I'm upset that my mom's sick, right? So in the prayer, it actually helps me feel better. It sends that good energy to her. And then I'm also offering that prayer off to God. So the next video, we'll talk about contemplative prayer. But when you are in alignment spiritually, it's one of the most important things to keep your stress hormones down and balance your hormones so that you can feel and live more balanced.